What's up, folks, and welcome back to Dyce Reacts, where we are staying in Poland tonight. Oh yeah, we're going to be checking out the Polish villages that existed in Africa, and no one talks about them. Now, when I saw the title, I was like, really? I did a video sometime back with, it was titled Haiti and the Polish community that was in Haiti in times past, and this was hella interesting. So I'm a little surprised, but not surprised at the same time with this one. But I know I'm gonna learn something I've never heard before. Maybe I might hear with some connections with the Haiti video, but we won't see. Yeah, right, my side checks one out. We ain't gonna waste no more time. We're just gonna get right into it, folks. We're gonna get right into it. Oh yeah.
Have you ever imagined driving through the heart of East Africa, past the rustling banana trees, red earth roads, and sweeping savannas, only to stumble upon the remains of a small Polish village? A church with whitewashed walls and a wooden cross? An overgrown cemetery where gravestones are etched with names like Kowalski, Nowak, or Wisniewski? A schoolhouse where, once upon a time, Polish children recited poetry in a language no one around them spoke? This isn't the setup for a historical novel. It's real. It happened, and very few people, even in Poland, know about it. Welcome to one of the most moving and overlooked chapters of Polish history, the Polish settlement camps of East Africa. During and after World War II, as Europe collapsed under Nazi and Soviet occupation, and millions of Poles were deported to Siberia and Kazakhstan, a narrow, fragile path to freedom opened for some. Those who escaped Soviet labor camps through an evacuation organized by General Anders found themselves in unexpected places: Iran, India, New Zealand, and incredibly, East Africa. Countries like Kenya, Uganda, Tanganyika, which we now call Tanzania, and Zambia became temporary homelands for thousands of Polish refugees, many of them women and children. They were not tourists, they were survivors. After enduring the brutality of Soviet gulags and the terrifying chaos of war, these people were exhausted, sick, and homeless. But what's remarkable, and what we want to explore in this video, is how they transformed these East African camps into thriving Polish communities, complete with schools, churches, orchestras, scouting groups, and a sense of life that defied their trauma. One of the most significant camps was in Tanguru, Tanzania, located near Mount Meru and not far from the base of Mount Kilimanjaro. At its height, Tanguru housed more than 4,000 Polish refugees. Imagine that, a small Polish town tucked into the East African highlands. The community built houses with red clay bricks and tin roofs. There was a hospital, a carpentry school, a Polish Catholic church, and a full elementary and secondary education system, all taught in Polish. Children studied literature and geography, choirs sang Polish hymns, and girls wore traditional costumes at cultural festivals, all under the bright African sun. Another major site was Koja in Uganda, on the shores of Lake Victoria. The scenery was breathtaking, and the refugees made the most of it. The Polish Red Cross and British authorities worked together to establish solid infrastructure. Koja became a peaceful place for a time.
We could take a pause there. I mean, I'm kind of stunned right there with the information I'm hearing there, and it just goes to show you that something like this happened, and it's not well known, not even by the Polish people. And there are things in history that you hear over and over and over and over, like different some type of wars. Doesn't mean it's not important, but we hear about the major ones, and those are kind of like almost like forgotten. And they played such a significant role in times past, on where we are today. I'm wondering, why is it that this is not talked about more, especially in Poland? This is very interesting. I'm listening to this and I have to go and fact check some of the things because this is shocking to me.
A place to heal, and what's extraordinary is how many of the people who lived there remember it not as a place of suffering, but as the first place where they felt safe after years of war and terror. Other camps like Masindi, Nyabeya, and Efunda had similar stories. In total, over 18,000 Polish civilians passed through East African camps between 1942 and 1950. Many stayed for several years, and in that time, they rebuilt their lives with courage and creativity. One story comes from a woman named Janina, who was only 10 years old when she arrived in Tenjeru after nearly 3 years in Siberia. She said it was the first time she saw fruit hanging from trees that wasn't rotten. She didn't know what bananas were. She said she finally felt free enough to laugh, and she learned to ride a bike in a place that looked nothing like Poland, but somehow felt like home. And while all of this was happening, the local East African communities were not passive observers. They interacted with the Poles, helped them, traded with them, and in many cases formed bonds of real friendship. Many older Tanzanians and Ugandans still remember the white Polish children who lived in their villages. They remember kindness, curiosity, and sometimes even shared songs. So why should a Polish person today, or someone with Polish heritage, consider visiting these places? Because this is your story too. Standing in Tenjeru today, you can still find the cemetery where Polish gravestones mark the lives of people who died far from the homeland they never stopped loving. In Koja, locals will tell you about the Polish school that once stood there. In Efunda, the remains of Polish farm training centers are still visible. The physical structures are fading, but the emotional resonance is stronger than ever. Visiting these sites is not just about seeing old buildings. It's about touching a memory, one your grandparents may never have spoken about. In Polish culture, we place enormous value on remembering, on keeping history alive, even when it's painful. But this part of our history isn't painful. It's heroic. It's hopeful. It's about resilience and how, even in exile, we kept teaching our children, singing our songs, and planting gardens where no one thought anything could grow. And the beauty is that while you're walking these historic paths, you're also walking through some of the most naturally stunning landscapes on Earth. Picture this. You begin your journey in Arusha, Tanzania, where you can visit the old Tenjeru settlement. Then, in just a few hours, you're standing on the slopes of Mount Kilimanjaro. The next day, you're in Serengeti National Park, watching elephants cross the plains. A few days later, you're in Zanzibar, floating in the turquoise waters of the Indian Ocean. This is a trip that combines memory and adventure, history and heart. It's not just a vacation, it's a pilgrimage, not in a religious sense, but in a personal one. You're walking where your countrymen once walked. You're seeing what they saw. You're honoring them simply by being there, by remembering what most of the world has forgotten. And by going, you also help ensure that these places are preserved. Many of the cemeteries and buildings are in danger of disappearing. Every visit is a message that this story matters, that it should be protected and told and passed down.
Definitely.
You can meet locals, share your own family story, and help fill in the blanks of a history that still has many missing pages. At Immigrant Paths, our mission is to uncover stories like this, stories that cross borders, that live between the lines of history books, that remind us how interconnected we truly are. The Polish towns of East Africa are more than a curiosity. They are a testament to survival, to cultural identity, and to the quiet courage of ordinary people rebuilding life in extraordinary places. So, if you're looking for a travel experience that will stay with you for life, something deeper than landmarks and souvenirs, go to East Africa. Visit Tangaru, stand at the Koja Cemetery, walk through the fields of Masindi, and feel the past speak to you in ways you never expected.
Oh, this is such an eye-opener. I'm stunned there. I'm surprised that they didn't make any reference to Haiti, Poles in Haiti. I'm kind of surprised there. But I never thought that there were so many Poles at one point in Africa. I don't know what's the population of Poles right now. Now, I don't know if this is accurate what he's saying there, so I have to fact check. But this is the first time I'm hearing this, and it's sad and it's wholesome at the same time. What happened in times past, many places across the world faced hardship during times of war, and sometimes you think it's just certain races of people or certain nations that go through those hardships, but it just shows you hardship has no boundaries. War has no boundaries. Like, anyone could be facing those kinds of turmoil. So it's good to lend a helping hand and treat each other like how you want to be treated. And this was great to see. I'm just still shocked that this is not commonly known. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to find out some more information about this myself. Yeah, but if you guys have more information about this, send me a link. If you want to see that Long John the Archer that I do, hit me over on Dyce Reacts where I do music reactions. This is where I'm gonna be making my exit. So until next time, peace